Okay, hello everyone. Today we will be looking into chapter 4, Focus Your Audience Attention. In the previous sessions, we have looked into clutter, pre-attentive attributes, importance of context. So today we will be looking deeply into focus your audience attention, how we can grab our audience attention. So if I look into the figure 4.13, so if I'm looking at this figure, it's difficult for me to understand like what's the main focus point here. Are these all blue dots or else all gray dots? So I cannot find my intended data here. Too many data labels feels cluttered. So this information is looking cluttered. So number one topic that today we will be looking is introduction beyond decluttering. In the previous session, we have looked into how we can declutter this graph. So if you want to look into that thing, you can look the previous sessions. Today we will be looking beyond decluttering. What other things we need to focus on? In previous lessons, we focused on identifying and removing clutter to reduce cognitive load. Let's look into figure 4.1, a simplified picture of how we see stimulus, eye, and then its precepts through brain. While eliminating distraction is essential, we must now consider how to interact with the remaining elements to guide our audience. Like if we have removed the eliminating distractions, now we need to consider how we can interact with the remaining elements to guide our audience. This chapter explores how people see and how to use specific powerful tools called pre-attentive attributes to direct attention and create a visual hierarchy. So in this, we will be looking how people see and how we can use these specific powerful tools called pre-attentive attributes to direct the audience attention and create a visual hierarchy. So if we look into figure 4.2, count the 3's example. After looking at this figure, I'm not able to figure out like which data I need to focus on. My eyes are looking at like it's too confusing for me. But if I look at figure 4.3, count the 3's example with the attentive attributes, I can clearly focus on the 3 points. Wherever 3 is written, I can clearly view that. So based on this, let's look into pre-attentive attributes in text. So if I'm discussing about pre-attentive attributes in text, so let's look into first no pre-attentive attributes. So looking at figure 4.5, no pre-attentive attributes. What are we doing? Well, great products. These products are clearly best in the class. So if I'm reading that out, I do not know where I need to focus on. I have to read the complete paragraph. But if I look at the second one that is bold, what are we doing? Well, I got that thing. I clearly catched it. If I look at color, what are we doing? Well, great products. These products are clearly the best in the class. So even without reading this, my eyes will first go to this color text. If I look with italics, what are we doing? Well, great products. These products are clearly the best in the class. But after that, I'm seeing there's italic text. Replacement parts are shipped when needed. So my eyes can clearly distinguish the difference and it will create a focus on italics. Size, without me having to ask, my eyes will clearly see this. Separate specially, what are we doing? Well, great products. So after that, we have created a separation. Problems are resolved promptly. So we can distinguish three different things here. Outline enclosure. Account manager even called to check in. So my eyes will clearly focus on this point. Underline added marks. You have a great company. Keep up the good work. My eyes will catch that out. So after looking into the pre-attentive attributes and text, we have got that if we have to use, we can use bold, color, italic, size. My eyes will catch that out. So after looking into the pre-attentive attributes and text, we have got that if we have to use, we can use bold, color, italics, size, outline, etc. to get the audience attention. Now we see sight and memory. Understanding the brain's processing stages helps us communicate more effectively. The visual process involves three types of memory. So we need to understand the brain's processing stages to help us communicate more effectively. So we have iconic memory. Duration is like fraction of a second. The function of it is like it's super fast and happens without even us realizing it. The secret? This is very where pre-attentive attributes reside. They are processed in iconic memory, meaning the brain perceives them before the conscious mind even realizes it is looking at them. Short-term memory limited can hold about 4 chunks of information at a time. If we provide too many visual elements, we exceed the audience capacity to keep track, leading to cognitive overload. Third is long-term memory, a lifetime, built through a combination of images and verbal cues. Implication: visuals are vital for getting information into long-term memory. For example, infographics. So now when I am looking at the third one, that is pre-attentive attributes, the tools of focus. Pre-attentive attributes are visual properties that our brains process instantly. They include size, color, and position on the page. So we have been talking about pre-attentive attributes. First, we need to understand like what is this? So this is pre-attentive attributes are visual properties that our brains process instantly. Looking at figure 4.4, I can see orientation. In this one is a slanting line. Shape, line length, line width, size, curvature, added marks, enclosure, hue, intensity, spatial position, motion. So let's look at number one, size. Concept is relative size denotes relative importance. Application. If we need to look into this, if you are showing multiple elements of equal importance, keep them the same size. If one item is significantly more important, make it bigger. Avoid oversizing. Don't make things so big that they become shouty or distract from the data itself. Here we are talking about the concept of size. That relative size denotes relative importance. If we are showing multiple elements of equal importance, we can keep them at same size and make the other ones significantly bigger. But we need to remember one thing. We don't make this thing so big that it becomes shouty, distracting, or aggressive. Number two, color. Color is one of the most powerful pre-attentive attributes when used sparingly. Let me show you with this example. Figure 4.1, use color sparingly. If we use many colors, none of them stand out. We can clearly see in figure 4.15 that the first image. But if I'm looking at top 5 drugs, country level sales rank, I can clearly see in this. Now I can focus on like dark means rank 1, and based on that, I can clearly find out my data. Now looking at this, we have data label uses as well. So in figure 4.14, data labels used sparingly help draw attention. Let's look into figure 4.16, color options with brand color. Leverage brand color like client logos. They have given draw attention with black, use complementary color. Leverage gray, use gray for majority of your visual to de-emphasize non-critical data. Then use a single bold color to highlight the point you want to make. Be mindful of color blindness. Roughly 8% of men and 0.5% of women have color vision deficiency. Avoid using red and green together to signal bad and good. Blue or orange are often safer alternatives. So when we are creating these charts, we need to think about this as well. Like our charts should be accessible tone and emotions. Color carry connotations, e.g., red for danger or depth. Ensure the color matches the tone of your message. Number third, position on the page. The Z pattern. We have discussed this already. Most audiences start at the top left and move in Z shapes across the page 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, looking at this figure 4.17, the zigzag Z of taking in information on a screen or page. High value real estate. The top left corner is the most important position. Place your most important information or instructions on how to read the graph here. Center alignment. Try to avoid it as it creates raised edges. Left justification creates a cleaner visual line. So now looking at the fourth, that is strategic goals. Two ways to use attributes. Directing attention. Without visual cues, an audience is forced to process all information at once. By highlighting specific data points with color or size, we signal exactly where they should look at first. So let's look at this figure 4.7 original graph, no pre-attentive attributes. So this is forcing us to process all information at once. But if I look at figure 4.8, leverage color to draw attention, now I can clearly see the values. B. Creating visual hierarchy. Attributes help lead the audience to the information in a specific order. You can use stepped approach. Level 1, bold color for the most important takeaway. Level 2, darker gray for supporting context. Level 3, light gray for background data. For example, we can look at figure 4.9, create a visual hierarchy of information. So I can clearly look at this like dark tones of red is the most important takeaway. My eyes will look clearly at that, and then we have light shade of it and gray. Case studies in attention. Fifth, we have this. The 3-second test. Look away from your visual, then look back. Where are your eyes drawn in the first 3 seconds? If it isn't at the main point, you need to adjust your pre-attentive attributes. So we can check for our graphs through this 3-second test. Look away from your visual, then look back at it. If your eyes are drawn to the first 3 seconds to that main point, then it's well and good. Otherwise, you need to fix it. The table problem. A table of numbers lack pre-attentive cues, forcing the brain to read every cell. Adding a heat map color or bolding the highest value instantly transform it into visual that can be seen. So it's always preferred to use heat map instead of table. Overcoming cultural bias. Be aware that up usually means positive and down negative. So this is the psychological thing. Up usually means positive, down negative. Organizing data in a way that is counterintuitive, positive values on the right and negative on the left makes the visual harder to decipher. If we are changing these vice versa, it will be little hectic for our audience to look at, like specifically they have to look for that thing. Sixth is closing. Pre-attentive attributes are tools that work in iconic memory. They allow you to ease the burden, save your audience from having to process every detail to find the point. So it's easing the burden for them. It's easy for them to grasp your point, guide the story, use size, color, and position to create clear narrative flow. Test effectiveness, always apply are your eyes drawn. Test to ensure your attributes are working as intended. So that's all for today's session. We will look deeper into the next sessions. Thank you. If you have any doubts and queries, you can comment